Hey, we're live, and this is us live again today. Good evening. I prefer to greet from the language on my angle because I'm tired of that good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I told myself I'm never going to say that again. I'll greet based on my time zone, and it is good evening for me. Hi, Miss Olamiko. Good to see you. I hope you all can hear me clearly. I hope we're good. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's afternoon for you because you're out in Calgary. I know. It's always a pleasure to be here. Honestly, I think very soon we should start making this thing more frequent because once a month always seems like too long. So I think we should look into that and have this chats more often. How you doing? Let me know where you're joining from if you can hear me. Let me know where you're joining from in the comment section. Let me know. While I just use a couple of minutes to share the links, let me know where you're joining us from. We already know that you're in Calgary. Who else is here? Let me know where you're joining us from. And how's the week been? For me, it has been a roller coaster kind of week because I've been preparing with the team for our upcoming book review. So it's been a marathon of preparation, creating content, creating awareness, trying to get people on board. But I can assure you we're doing fine. Everything is going fine so far. And we're prepared for that program, right? So the week has been good. Thank you, Miss Olamiko. The week has been good. We can't complain, honestly. We can't. So today we're talking about a very important topic that is very dear to me. Oh, Star Evelyn is here. Good to have you. Good to have you, Mama. I honor you. I appreciate your time joining us here all the time. I appreciate you really. So we have a very important topic. This topic is dear to me because it's, how do I say, it's at the root of building reading skills or building consistency in reading. So without wasting too much time, good evening again. And this is Vera Patrick Azodo from the Readerz Corner. And every last Sunday of the month, we gather here to talk about topics around reading habit, reading consistency, challenges with reading, and different kind of topics, all centered on helping you to develop a daily reading habit. I'm sure that by now you already know that that is what the Readerz Corner is all about. Helping parents, helping families to make reading a daily lifestyle because we understand that everything rises and falls on the knowledge that you have. Now, let me say something to open this conversation. Recently, I've been doing a lot of study on the book of Proverbs, and I have been trying to document the number of times that the book of Proverbs talks about wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It is almost uncountable. Like the whole of my Bible is rude because anytime I see wisdom, knowledge, I just underline it. So it looks like the whole of my Bible is chaotic with knowledge, understanding, wisdom. Those three words, I think I might, as I go through the Bible, I might come up with a research and I can prove that those three are the most used words in the scriptures: wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And there's a reason why. That is because it is what you know that will take you to where you're going. It is what you know that will take you to where you're going. We all have destination, we all have our purpose, where we're created, and all of that. But it is what you have in your, my friend calls it armor tank. It is what you have, what is in your backpack that will take you where you're going. It's just like embarking on an adventure and you're just carrying an empty backpack. You don't have a map, you don't have a compass, you're just You don't have refreshment, water, nothing to keep you, to keep you strong. That's just what living life every day without reading is. Honestly, what I'm saying now, I didn't prepare for it. It's just coming as I'm talking. It's not in my notes. Going through life without reading daily is akin to going on a journey with an empty backpack. No supply, no nothing for emergency. And sadly, that is how most of us are living our lives. Some people come to me and say, Vera, how is it that you read every day? And I ask you, how is it that you eat every day? Because what food does to your belly is what reading does to your mind. So the more you eat every day, you're nourishing your physical body, but you're not reading. That means your mind is dying of starvation. Many of us are looking chubby, robust, and beautiful, but our minds are suffering from kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor. No nourishment, no nothing, no food. It's just that the mind is on perpetual dry fasting. I don't even know where all of this is coming from because it wasn't planned. It's not in my notes. Now, right back to the topic. From reading to results, the power of books in shaping mindsets. That's why we started talking about reading, right? So the question is, can a single book really change the way you think and ultimately the way you succeed? Can a single book really change the way you think? I'd like to have responses in the comment section. Can a single book really change the way you think and ultimately the way you succeed? If you think is a yes, please drop your answer in the comments and give us an example of one book that you have read recently or whenever that has changed something in you, triggered something in you, brought some ideas, brought some innovations to you. Please put it in the comment section. I just imagine if I'm on the other side and someone is asking me this question. I don't think like my answer, like what I can answer with one book, because I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot of books, and every time I read, I take out something meaningful. We will get to that part. So on today's live topic, we're going to talk about how the right book can challenge your thinking, awaken your creativity, and even push you to take bold steps in your business, your profession, your career, or whatever it is you're doing. And I'll also be sharing some lessons. We'll just talk about like a preview to our upcoming book review and business workshop. So I attended a church today, which is not my regular church, and I got talking with someone, and they're like, oh, why? Like, I've been seeing this post everywhere. Why did you choose this book? Why? And I said to myself I said to her, sorry, the reason we chose this book at the Readerz Corner is because we wanted to use a book that everyone can relate to. We have lots of books written by foreign authors, right? But it is actually better to use a book. Everybody knows Femi Otedola, right? And everybody thinks that this guy got his wealth on a platter of gold, maybe from parental advantage and all of that. So, but having read that book, I realized that it is far from all what we think. The guy struggled his way to the top. And even when he got to the top, we thought he had got to the top. One singular event happened in Nigeria that led to his crash landing. Like he fell to the barest minimum and he had to rebuild and rebound. So that book is more like talking about a country, and then you want to pick a country that has had it all going up, 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 up. Other countries, the best country to use as an example is one that has gone through recession, right? So they've gone through 360 degrees of the experience. That's the best example to teach. So Making It Big is a book that has taught me what we can make out of life by just standing up to take our destinies in our hands. But Making It Big is not the topic of this conversation. We're talking about generally the power of books, in changing mindset. So I'll take the comments. Sister Evie says, I just finished a 300-page book, The Conspiracy of the Rich by Robert Kiyosaki. This book revolutionized my financial sense. Awesome. I think you also recommended this book to me. I haven't read it, so I need to stock it up very soon. The Conspiracy of the Rich. Nice. I mean, please take note of that book and so that we can shop for it. Thank you, Miss Uwana Nancy, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Uyuton. You said yes, but it depends on the type and content of the book. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to get to that. I will tell you where I agree with you. It depends on the type and content. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So while I was preparing this, when I chose the topic, to be honest, I didn't know what I was going to talk about. But when it got to the time of my day when I need to prepare my notes for this live stream, there was just one sentence that came to my mind. I have not heard it anywhere before. And it is this: books are problem solvers. I have not heard it before. I have not read it anywhere before. So that's my own, is copyrighted by me. Books are problem solvers, and I'm going to unpack it for you today. For every problem we face, there is a solution written in a book. I have said this one before in previous live stream. It's also my copyright. For every problem we face, there is a solution written in a book. We struggle with problems because we haven't read the right book yet. And that's very true. Every problem, has a page, just one page that holds the answer. The problem is you have not picked the right book. Every problem has a page that holds the answer. The problem is you have not read the right book. You've not picked up the right book. And I'm going to walk you through how to make reading purposeful and helps you to move from reading to real results. Behind every book is an author who struggled with a challenge, found a solution, learned from it, and cared enough to document it so that others don't have to struggle the same way. Thank you, Ms. Uwana. I'm presently reading Shifts. Oh, yes, I heard about that book. It came out a couple of months ago. In fact, a client of mine asked me to get it for them, Shifts, and it was also really popular on social media. So I'm also adding that to the next list of books to get to the bookstore, right? So behind every book is an author who has gone through a challenge. Follow the trend. They've gone through the challenge. They found the solution. They learned from it. And they were kind enough to share it. So that's one thing I know for sure. So when a couple of months ago, when we were talking about the real reasons why we don't read, yes, the real reason why we don't read, if you're new in the YouTube channel, you can go through our playlist. We do this every month, so there's a lot of resources for free that you can leverage on. The topic is the real reason why we don't read daily. And one of the reasons I said was purpose confusion. What is purpose confusion? We don't even know why we want to read. We want to read, or we are reading, but we don't know why. Right? It's more like reading, how do I say it? Like aimlessly. Let me use that word loosely, not to be rude, right? Reading aimlessly. So you don't just wake up and say, I want to read. Oh, let me just take a book. No, there's something called, I discovered that word recently. There's something called intentional reading. Intentional reading. That's the way to go now. So let me tell you how it works. You have a challenge. For instance, the reason I picked up Making It Big, I read it last month, or was it this month I read it? I think it's been a while I read it though. The reason I picked up this book, I'll tell you why. So when the book came out, in fact, I was just scrolling on that one evening on social media, and I'm like, Femi wrote a book. I know this guy very well. Like, what does he want to write in a book? Okay, now this guy is a billionaire. He's a successful entrepreneur. He's a father, so he's a parent, right? And he has wined and dined with the high and mighty. And I said to myself, this guy is writing a book. I mean, there's no person that should not read this kind of book. And then I ordered I just bought one copy for myself. And the moment I started, so now my major objective for reading Femi's book was to discover his secrets. What helped him get to the top? Can you see that I have a purpose? I didn't just read it because it's buzzing on social media and I have a bookstore and I have to read every book. No. No. I picked it because I have seen someone who has gotten to where I am going. And I know for sure that whatever he puts in this book will be what has worked for him, his success strategy. So I have a business, I'm an entrepreneur, and I want this business to be very big. And so what's the easiest thing to do is to pick up a book from someone who started like me and got to where he is. You see that I have a purpose. So there are all other books, like when Sam Adeyemi, for example, when I saw Shift, maybe from the name, I didn't know what it was about, and it didn't resonate with me, and I didn't feel like I had a need for the shift or whatever the book talks about, and I didn't go for it. But when I saw Making It Big, the title alone, my friends that I know that me, I want to blow. Like the blow, like I need to really, really blow it this my life, right? So when I see someone that has blown the blow I'm looking for, the only thing I would do is to go and tag along. If I can't reach him and sit under his mentorship, he has poured down his life. He's almost 60 years or more of his life in a book. So intentional reading is the kind of reason that gives results. Apply the same principle to your children. If your children, like you have a child who is struggling with time management, or a child who is struggling with emotions control, then the first tool that should come to your hand is a book on that topic. And that's what we call goal-specific reading. That's the same thing as intentional reading. You are reading with a purpose. You're not just reading. And if you look at, if you have a parent that has children in these mentorship academies, you see that they have a curriculum at the beginning of every month. There's something they are trying to inculcate in your children. So that is why you should not take their reading sessions on seriously. You have to take it seriously, because it is when they get exposed to that knowledge and they begin to apply what they've read, then that's when the changes happen. I can say for sure that books have made my parenting process really, 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 really easy, because when I see some challenges, some gaps in my children's life, I just look for the closest book that can deliver that result. And you know the best thing, books are so cheap. So let's take, for example, if I was going to pay Mr. Femi to tell me the story of his life, this book, it sells for about maybe between 30 or 25 to $30 or so, $30 thereabout. Do you think is $30 I will pay him to sit down and tell me his story? No, I will pay millions. But this is him. He has written down everything you need to know about how he got up all the way up there. And then he has given it, I have a post somewhere that says that books are the mentors we cannot see and the mentors we cannot pay for, right? Books are a roadmap left behind by those who have already walked the journey. The right book at the right time can save you years of trial and error. So, my people, you see, whatever area of your life that you need a change today, sit down and write it down. Whatever, is it your finances? You have not read the right book. In fact, one of my the coaches that I follow, he said something. He said, money is an idea. Money is an idea. Every successful or wealthy person you see is just implementing an idea. It's ideas that bring money. Now, what will give you the idea? The only thing that will give you the idea, in addition to the Holy Spirit, right, is your mental capacity. How has your mental muscles been stretched over time? That is why you see that a reader never runs out of idea, never runs out of options. Hardly so. You can never hear me say, I don't know what to do. It's a lie. In fact, I know what to do. My problem is I need time. Who can help me to even come and implement the things in my head? In any circumstance, there's always a way out of it. And that is one sure thing that books do for you. Books exist because someone found answers and was kind enough to share them. Books are wisdom bottled from someone else's experience, and they compress decades of experience into hours of reading. Again, our case study book. Yes, our case study book. It compressed years of experience. This guy has put down 60 years of his life, and it would take you hours to read this book. When I say hours, I mean up to days, right? But you can still break it down to hours. But it won't take you 60 years to read this book and finish it. So my plea today, or my charge, is fall in love with reading books and read intentionally. The thing I see that a lot of people feel like, oh, the Readerz Corner, we're always making noise about reading, reading, reading. Like it doesn't like help, it hasn't worked well for you. The reason is because you are not reading purposefully. You're cherry picking, you're just doing tumbum trial and error. If it's a book, if it's financial struggle you're having, right? There's no way you will read 5 books on finances and be the same. Even one book. Look at that. She said The Conspiracy of the Rich. The thing revolutionized her entire being and her business strategy. Just one book in that area you're struggling with is what you need. But if you want to make it like you just want to relax, okay, just read novel, read them, just relax, and no. So the game of success now lies on intentional reading. Intentional read for a purpose. So for me, before I pick up any book, I know what I'm looking for in that book, right? I see you said the book I'm reading next, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families. Very good book. That's the book I'm reading currently. I'm almost done with it for the month. 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families, right? Many of us are family men and women. We want to learn how to be better parents, and we are not even reading anything on parenting. So how will it work? Remember when I started, it is what you know that will get you to where you're going to. Your books the books in your brain are like the backpacks at your back when you're embarking on a journey, because you don't even know what lies ahead. You just pick what you think is necessary. So that's why you need to read purposefully. And for me, so how I usually structure my reading, like I have different segments of my life I want to develop part time, right? So if it's business, I go right into business. So lately I've been reading a lot on business. I read a book. I was telling my friends that evening, I said, Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrants. I have that book in the bookstore, very small book. But after reading that book, oh my God. In fact, I don't know how to explain it, because the book divides everybody into 4 quadrants. The entrepreneur, the business owner, no, the employee, ESBI, the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. And according to the lessons in that book, you can never be wealthy if you are on the left side of the quadrant, which is if you are an employee and if you're if you're self-employed. Yes, employee and self-employed, you can never be wealthy. Why? Because your wealth is controlled by somebody. How much you can earn is controlled by who is employing you. And then the self-employed, you have a business, but then you're doing everything by yourself, right? On the right side of the quadrant is the business owner and the investor. Those are the people who get to wealth, financial freedom. Okay, so, and then I say I want my business to do good, I want to be financially free, but I've not read that kind of book. How would it happen? It's not magic. Anybody who you see that is making it, there's somebody reading in their space and advising them, even if they are not reading. Let's continue. So when you pick up a book, you are not just reading words, you're assessing someone else's experience, strategies, and lessons that can help you shortcut your own learning curve. Every time you read intentionally, you're basically hiring a mentor, one who is available 24/7 and costs less than a lunch. Books are like silent coaches. They don't just inform you, they transform the way you respond to challenges. And finally, books solve invisible problems, the mindset ones. So I am moving now from we said from reading to results. We're not just talking about reading. We want to talk about results, right? Now, why does mindset matter? I said books solve invisible problems, the mindset one, the mindset problems we all have different problems. Like not every problem is external. Some of them are internal or mental. Some like, for example, fear. You are afraid of something, you're afraid of starting something. There is doubt, there is procrastination, there's limiting beliefs or anything. There's self-doubt anywhere. Miss Suwana said, cash flow quadrant is a deliverance. My sister, that's what it is. You will become uncomfortable collecting salary if you read that book because you can never, ever be financially free with salary. And that's the truth. So the game or what's it called now? The goal is to move to the right hand side, which is the business owner and the investor. That's where financial. So, like my mentor coach when she should say, you cannot do, because she's a parent coach, you say you cannot do parenting by prayer and fasting alone. Prayer and fasting is just add-on, right? They are just, it's not, I don't want to say it's like, I don't want to trivialize it, but the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. The Bible did not say my people perish because of lack of prayer. The Bible knows that we are prayerful, we are religious fanatics. So, but you see, learning book, reading, enriching our mind. Now that place we they carry last. And that's when we perish. That's what the Bible says. And he said, it transformed my life. I knew where I was and decided where I wanted to be. And it's been life transformed. Oh, absolutely. When I read that book, the fire in my bones, I'm like, So I have already worked. I've been working, I've been a professional risk manager for 13 years now, or 14, thereabout. So I've used 14 years of my life, of my youthful age, because I'm even old now, Seth. I've used it to work for somebody. And in that book, it says, the work you are working Monday to Friday for someone, you are just fulfilling their destiny for them. You are not doing your own. Yes, I said it. That 9 to 5 you're chasing, collecting sheep, pushing, you are only helping someone fulfill their destiny, helping someone fulfill their goal. Every business, every year, they will put their goal for the year. This is what I want to. That's what you are doing. At the end of 2025, they will sit down and do their vision board review and mark it good. Can you mark your own good? Your financial goal, can you mark it good? Your career, your business, can you mark it good? You've helped someone else mark their own good, but your own is hanging. So those are the kind of books that when you read, you cannot be the same way where you are again. You get it now. So let's go back to mindset. Before problems change around you, they often have to change inside of you. So recently, I was talking about mindset with my children. That was 2 nights ago. We're doing exercise. I was just feeling so, I was feeling so, what's it called now? Tired. Like I don't even know how to say it, because I work from home. So most times I don't go out. I'm just always in the house doing stuff. So sometimes I want to just distress and release some energy. So I said, okay, let's do exercise in the evening. We're exercising. And we got talking. And I told my daughter that there is no success without vision. You see, whatever it is you wish, you get it twice. The first time you get it in your mind, the second time is the real one. I then gave them an illustration. Recently in summer, we traveled to Calgary, and I asked them, do you know that you guys got to Calgary before the day we flew the plane to Calgary? She was like, no, it was that day. I said, no. The moment when you started planning, I bought the ticket, you packed your bag, you did your research, you found out the tourist places that we were supposed to go to, you started filling your travel journal, you have already gotten to Calgary. So the same thing happens with problems. So before problems can change around you, anything that you're struggling with now, parenting, business, finances, you're feeling stagnated, the solution has to start in your mind. You need to believe that you're bigger than that first. And the only thing that gives you that deliverance is a book. Success begins in the mind before it shows in reality. So the thing is, many entrepreneurs, we chase tools, trends, and tips, but in your thinking, your mind is at the back. It's the thinking that either fuels or limits those things, those tools that you're chasing. And it's the books that give access to new ways of thinking, helping us to break out of mental rot. Yes. So all of these successful entrepreneurs that we've been looking at, case studying and looking at reading their books, they all started from their mind. A change of mindset. That's the first place to get your deliverance from. Change of mindset. Right? So books are not just words. Books are they're someone else's experience that are condensed. And one thing I know about reading is that it exposes you to different mindsets. And how does that then help you solve the problem? How it helps you solve the problem is when in that problem that you have, now you have a bouquet of options of solutions to choose from. It's not like someone who goes for a dinner and you haven't eaten all day, you're very hungry and you're looking for something healthy to eat, and then you get to an event and it's just noodles and Coke that is there. Noodles and Coke cannot nourish you, right? And then you just take it and that's all what's available. And every day it happens repeatedly. At some point, you're going to feel malnourished. But imagine someone who goes there, you're hungry, that's the problem. And you see an array of table, fruits, veggies, protein, little carbs, and all of that. And then you're able to pick, and have a nice, colorful, healthy plate. Right? That's the exact same. So that problem of hunger has been solved by a variety of options. That's the same thing that happens to us in real life. It's financial problem, it's parenting problem, it's marital problem. What the solution you need is to go and get books in that area, read them. So what happens? You have an array of options to choose from. That's why I began by saying that readers never run out of ideas. Never. And that's one thing I've also seen with my children here, because I make them to read by force, by fire. You must read, like your life depends on it. Like whenever there's a challenge, if you see the way my children will throw in suggestions, I'm like, Jesus Christ, these children, like there's no, I don't know what to do. Mommy, I don't know what, there's nothing like that. That language does not exist in my house. There's always solution, always something to try, always an option, always. And the more you try and fail, the more you're building resilience, the more you're learning all the ways not to do that thing. Right? So let's keep moving. Our time is far spent. Now let's get into the part that talks about the power of books to transform. This transformation, we've talked about books. Now, the transformation part is where the real deal is. And the link between the book you're reading and the transformation that you're looking for is just one word. One word. And that word is what? Action. Action. Yes. What do you do with the books that you read? And this takes me back to intentional reading. If you do not know why you read the book in the first place, then you will not know what to do with the book. But if you know why you started to get in a book in the first place, then you know that when you're reading, you're going to take notes. Because you're looking for something, right? The moment you see that thing, you've underlined it. If you see my book, I don't think anybody can borrow any book that I've read. Because the way I write on it, I underline it, I write it, I scatter it. Because in doing that, I am creating a neural pathway to remind me of what I've read. So the link between the books that you read and the result you're looking for, action points 101. What's the action? What do you do? So for me, I have a journal. When I'm reading a book, I have the title reading and the title written somewhere. And after every chapter, I try to ask myself, Vera, what can you do differently? What action can you? And it doesn't have to be big actions. It could just be, okay, going forward, don't read in the room again, read in the parlor. Going forward, it could just be something so trivial, but that change, that is where the result lies. So that is where lies the power of books to transform. Action, action, action. A book can show you the path, but you have to walk into it by yourself. Remember, we started saying that books talk about they give us the pathway, they give us a solution of problems that people have faced in the past, but the usefulness of reading is in the action, implementation. What do we do with it? The real power of books is unlocked when you take concrete steps based on what you read. This could be, it could be just trying a new strategy or starting a new project or changing a habit. But the key thing is there is a message in every book that needs action. There are even novels, even storybook, there is a message that needs action. And for me, I don't make it so vague, or then I take everything in my head. I say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. What I do is I make it practical for myself. Like if I want to like if I want to take an action now, I choose the easiest part of the action. Like I'm so truthful to myself. Like I'm not gonna write a long list of 15 things to do on one book. When I know that in the next day I'm picking another book, I will not write 15. Even if it's just one action step, just one, and you implement it, that is the transformation that the book brings. Okay? Without action, even the best insights remain just words on a page. Knowledge without application is like a seed that never leaves the packet, and as such, it can never grow. It can never grow. It was my mom growing up, she would always say, wisdom is applied knowledge, right? Wisdom is applied knowledge. So it's moved like this. It's information, you get information. Oh, that's what they're saying, information, you're gathering. Knowledge is now when you've internalized it, you're beginning to process this, looking for where to apply it. How does it apply to you? How can you maximize this information you've gotten? And then wisdom is when you've applied that knowledge in your life, right? Thank you, Precious. Knowledge without action is like a seed that never left the packet. It can never germinate. Yes. So that is the power of books to transform. Let me do a quick recap. We started by talking about what books are, how they are, people's experiences, people that have gone through challenges, succeeded in the challenges, and cared enough to write it down. Step one. Step two is that the book we read intentionally. We read with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. What am I looking for in this book? Why do I have to read this book anyway? Okay, I want to learn how to better manage my finances. I want to learn better how to grow my business. Things like that. Right. And then the third step is action. Action point from the books that you read. And then while preparing this note, I just came up with a simple formula that can help me always remember. Intentional reading plus intentional action equals transformation. And that is what nicely summarizes our today's conversation, from reading to results, the power of books to shape your mindset. And it is intentional reading plus intentional action is equal to transformation. And so my charge today to you is approach reading with the mindset. Ask yourself question one, what problem am I trying to solve here? What help am I looking for in this book? What idea can I apply from this book that I've read? And how will this change the way I think or act? So before you pick up your next read, your next chapter, ask yourself those questions. Why? I'm not reading a book because I'm in a mentorship group and decide to read the group. In fact, I'm in the inner circle. There are some months I don't read the book of the month. Yes, to be honest. Why? Because when I say that title is not where I am going as a person, my own target or my family is not where I'm going. I just shift that book aside. I pick up the one that is taking me where I'm going. And it's allowed. It's very okay. It's very okay. But the secret there is keep on reading. Keep on reading something. If it does not the book, I'm talking to especially those in the inner circle. If it's not the book of the month I mean, keep on reading something else. I've done it a few months this year, and I looked at the title, maybe because I read the book before, because I've been in the inner circle for quite some time, and I feel like this book, like the month I read Cash Flow Quadrant, I couldn't finish up the book of the month because that cash flow, I needed it for my business. I needed it to change something that I was dealing with. And I didn't even reach half of that book. And the answer I was looking for, I collected it and I moved on. Right. So another thing that can give us this result is use reflection journaling and action plans to convert ideas into measurable results. The power of books lies, it doesn't just lie in understanding the ideas, it lies in making them work for you. So that book in your hand is a tool that is supposed to deliver results to you. The only way it will deliver that result to you, it depends on what you do with the information, the knowledge that you get, the action that you take. I saw a popular quote somewhere, and it says, books give you the spark, action turns it into fire. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Books give you the spark, but action turns it into wildfire. So gone are the days of reading. After reading such a big book, you just close it. And so let me tell you what I did with reading, making it big. Like many of you on the call already know, we're planning a very big book review and business workshop. From the first page of that book, I'm like, oh my God. When I learned about the first business he did and how he navigated through life, following his father up and down, dropping out of school, and all of that, I said to myself, this fire is too much for me to read it alone. It's too much for me to read it alone. I need to share this with the world. And so far, at least, we have almost close to like 50, let me say maybe 30, between 30 and 50 people who have started reading this book because of the noise we have made about it. Yes, and that was the actual objective of reading this book and creating a product out of it, which is our book review coming up next month. So that's an action point. I didn't want to do it, enjoy it alone. Because I know, like in conversations, you see a lot of people who are struggling to push their ideas out. I wanted to say something, but I don't know who is listening, right? So I was talking to one of the vendors that I'm using for the planning early this morning, around 8 in the morning. I was just like, this hasn't been sorted, and I'm getting, anxious about it. And I asked her a question like, can you pull this off for me? It's 2 weeks from today before this program. Can this thing? And she said, yes and no. I said, okay, tell me why. She said, yes, because she can make it happen. Like she has enough time to do. She knows what to do. No, because she's so tired. Her body is tired. And she just feels like, I'm like, oh. And then I said to myself, if there were 10 other people in this city doing this service that she's doing, tiredness will not be the topic of discussion. The energy will come. But why? Because there are not a lot of people doing the service. So it's almost like monopoly. Like if I don't do it, like who else will do it? So it's almost like she didn't say she wasn't going to do it. Don't get me wrong. But that part of, oh, my body is tired, my body, I'm like, is because, and actually it's actually because there are not a lot of people doing it. So she's kind of overwhelmed. What am I saying? Imagine that there are other people who can do, and I don't want to believe that she's the only one that has that idea in this whole city. No, there are 20 more people who have the idea to do that thing she's doing. Only thing is that they have not been able to stand up to make that idea a reality. And that is what this book review is aimed at achieving. Put the fire in everybody's body, that thing you're sitting on, refuse to sit on it, stand up and let it shine. Let the whole world hear about it. Now, in closing, I'll say, so how to turn your reading into real results. This is like a recap because I've already said it here and there. First, read intentionally. Know what you're looking to gain before you start. begin with the end in mind. The second one, journaling. Write something down, take notes. Those parts that resonate with you, write them down. Capture key ideas that resonate. I don't even know how people read books and they don't highlight, they don't underline, they don't write anything. The thing is, by the time you pass 3 months, you hardly remember anything that you even read from that book, because the memory is strengthened when you try to coordinate with your hands, your brain, you're doing all of that, you're thinking, trying to replay what you heard and all of that. And the third one is reflect. Ask, how does this apply to my business or personal life? How can this thing help me? And then act, implement one idea at a time, just one. And then, of course, the last part is to review. You go back to your notes after a while, check, what did I say that I was going to do? How was I able to do it? Did it give me the result that I expected? And guess what? It can be yes and it can be no. Yes, it gave you the result. Congratulations, keep on going. No, it didn't give you the result. Congratulations for failing. And then go and try again, because now you've learned one way not to do it again. And guess what? You can begin to write about it, so that the next person who is looking for the same solution does not make the same mistake that you made. That's where impact happens, and that's where money comes. When you write, give back what you know and charge for it. Right. Knowledge only becomes power when you use it. Knowledge only becomes power when you use it. I want us to take that away. And just to ask now, if you know that you're ready to get your life transformed through reading, I want you to please put in the comment section and say, I'm ready to read intentionally. Let me see it in the comment section. I'm ready to read intentionally. I am ready to read intentionally. Yes. Let me see who is following me. I can see the comments. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Olamipo. I'm ready to read intentionally, with purpose, goal specific, goal result oriented, not scattered reading, not being pushed. Oh, they say we should read this book. Well, let me go and read it. Whereas you're chasing financial, spiritual growth. That's where your main problem is. And then they are writing, and then they're talking about a book on emotional control. I'm not saying it's bad, but everything you also have where you're going. So understand your season, where you're going per time, and try to align your reading to where you're going. Yes, I'm ready to read intentionally. Yes, thank you, Miss Evelyn. Thank you, Precious. I'm ready to read intentionally. Yeah. Now, we have a few more minutes to wrap up. And talking about reading intentionally, that is one thing that our book review is going to do for you. The book review that is coming up, and the book review and the business workshop, from ideas to impact, lessons for entrepreneurs at every stage. Like I said before, too many people are sitting down on ideas. That's why we said from ideas to impact. Too many people are sitting down on ideas, sitting down on what they should do. And the funniest thing is that they and you know that the Bible says all good gifts, all good and perfect gifts comes from above. So the same way that God is putting an idea in your mind, rest assured you're not the only one that is thinking of that thing. He's also giving another person the same idea. He just wants to see who is going to act first. And the first move advantage always gets the best. Right? The first move advantage always gets the best. So this program is not just a book discussion. You know, when I was planning the book, like when I started reading the book, I was like, no. I need to share this piece with the world, right? And how best can I do it? I have the platform. So, okay, let's do something. And I was talking to a friend and I said, I'm going to do a book review on this book. And then I said I was going to do a business workshop alongside the book review. And she said, no, separate the two. Just everybody knows you for book review. Stay with book review. I said, no. Because we actually have people who are reading. But what do we do with the reading? That's another question. So that's why I put it book review, business workshop. We're going to read the book together. discuss the book together, take away our lessons, discuss it, and then we're going to implement it in the book, in the workshop. We're going to ask questions to the panelists who have gone through this journey. We're going to be talking about real life challenges in doing business. And guess what? All of those challenges are also discussed in the book. So that is me moving from idea to impact, because I don't want people to gather and just read a book. And we're not a book club, just book club to read and discuss and take selfie. No, we're going to read books that will impact our lives and change the trajectory of our lives. That is the power of a good book, right? So that's why you see that it's a book review merged with a business workshop, because we wanted to deliver it end to end. You read it, you learn it, you hear it. Let's assume, okay, you have read the book. You cannot ask Femi question, right? We brought the industry experts to sit with us. We are going to ask them those your questions, those challenges, and they're going to give us the answers. And we're going to start something for ourselves. Imagine me, I was telling myself, I said, if I knew how much, like, if it could turn back the hands of time, I won't give somebody over 10 years of my youthful life collecting salary. When I could even, why can't we think of paying the salaries? Why can't you? The Bible says you shall lend to nations. Please, how can you lend to nations when you are still collecting salary? I want to ask. Lending to nations means Nigeria is in trouble now. They'll just call me. They'll just email me in Canada, say, Vera, please, just give us $55 billion bond. We will pay back in 50 years and I'll approve it. That's what it means. Lending to nations. So we all have to create something of our own. That's the bottom line. That's one key lesson I picked from this book is you have to create your own empire by yourself. And that is why we're gathering people from Fredericton, New Brunswick. We're coming together and the registration has been going well. If you have not registered, you might be the only one that will not come for this event. And the hall has a capacity. Once we reach the capacity, we shut down and work with people that we can manage, right? It's not going to just be a discussion of books. It's going to be a growth experience for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and even book lovers, students, right? We would unpack entrepreneurial lessons, the practical strategies, the mindset shift from making it big. This book is a very good tool for every entrepreneur, because Femi Otedola talked about the lowest of the lowest, the midpoint, the high point, and then when he crash landed to the lowest and started all over. He even went as far as talking about his daily routine. Many of us struggle with keeping routines. We don't know what to do. He talked about when he wakes up, when he goes to bed, what he does during the day. And some people are still saying, what's the news about this billionaire? Anybody that asks that question, I just know that you're not going to be, like, you're not going where I'm going, right? He talks about it. He talks about there's one shocking part he talked about. I learned something new. I was sharing with my friend Mr. Evening, called decision fatigue. Decision fatigue happens when you allow yourself to take decision in several things. You are the one taking decision on what you will wear, what to cook, where to go, what the children will wear, time. All of those things you're scattering yourself to, they fatigue you, they drain the brain. And because he noticed that was happening to him and he needed a lot of more of his brain resources to go into his business, he stopped wearing variety of clothes. He stuck to one kind of cloth, which is a white kaftan. For years, so many years, he was wearing only white, Monday to Monday white. You think these people don't know what they are doing? So by doing that, he has cut down on, I'm going for Owambe, let me wear green cap and yellow top that will match orange trouser. That decision does not happen again. And guess what? As tiny as that change is, made him more billions. Just sticking to white cloth. So do you see the power of books, the power of reading from people who have gotten to where you're going? When I read that, then I had to step back and say, Vera, what are the decisions that you can drop right now? Of course, I'm not going to wear white kaftan. I'm a babe, right? I have to wear colors. But what am I taking on right now that I can? Oh, I see Starlamic, but is there a virtual option? I get this question so much, and unfortunately, no. Right now, we want to make it a physical event. We want to network, talk, interact. Maybe, just maybe, I'm not sure. Let's see how this one goes. Then we might just have a catch-up virtual session. We might, because this question, I think the people who have asked for virtual are even more than people who have registered for the event to come for physical one, right? But the idea I had in mind was supposed to be for us to gather together. Of course, I know I have a very huge virtual fan base, client base rather, and I have you in mind. So let's finish this one. It's taking a lot to plan this one because we want to make it big. We cannot be discussing making it big and we're planning small program. So after this one, we'll see what is left that we can also, because I know people, we need to talk. Like, oh my God, I had to ask myself, what decision can I drop? And I listed them. So many trivial decisions I was taking. I had to drop many of them. Allocate, assign, delegate, take care of this, however you do it, right? So that I can save my mental energy for the billions that I'm looking for, the things that I need to get done, right? So that's just one example. Femi wrote a lot in this book that I really do appreciate him, the effrontery to write this book. Like I said in the beginning, books are the mentors that we have 24 hours 7. I don't think any of us can be able to pay this guy to sit down and teach us what he has written freely inside this book. So the next time that we talk about reading a particular book and we're making so much noise, there is something in it. And one advice I will just leave us with today is read more of memoirs. Read more of memoirs. When you see someone that you think that they've attained a particular height, go and read about their memoirs, if they have any memoir. Another memoir I read this year that shifted something in me is Coach Wendy Ologe's memoir, The Kingmaker. That's the book where she chronicled her journey of 40 years. So books are the mentors that you have it in your library 24 hours 7. You can go back to it, pick up a lesson and implement, and you move. Now, before you log off, before we call it a day, we've done 1 hour almost, and I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I hope you have. Let me see your comments. If you've enjoyed chatting with me today, let me see your comment, please. Okay, so another person said, I'm still reading The Kingmaker. Yes, that book is a memoir, is a powerful memoir for every business owner too. Every person who wants to pursue purpose. Oh my God, it's such a good book. Yeah. So my call to action today would be, if you haven't been reading, pick up one book this week. It could be Making It Big. It could be any other one based on your challenge. Pick up one book and read it with purpose. Ask yourself after each chapter, what can I apply right now? Remember, it is not in the big application. It is in that tiny step, just one tiny step. And when you do those steps repeatedly, that is where transformation happens. And that is where lies the power of books to transform mindsets. I hope that this session has blessed you. I hope that you enjoyed it. You took something away. I just want to say thank you for joining me today, from reading to results, the power of books in shaping mindsets. And I remain Vera Patrick Azodo, your host, every last Sunday of the month, soon to be changed. We need to do this more often. And I'll see you next time. And until then, I'd like to say, keep reading, keep growing, and keep making it big. Thank you very much. Say something nice to me. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Miss Olaniwase. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful. I really had a good time doing this. Thank you for joining. And if you're catching a replay or going to catch a replay, I also want to say thank you. Thank you, Miss Adenike, for joining us today. I hope that this session has been impactful. I hope it's been worth your time, because it has also taught me, especially at the beginning part, I didn't know where those were coming from, right? But I have been thoroughly blessed having this session with you guys. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.